You walk out to the pen in the morning and you ken before you even reach the gate. The feed bucket rattles and only 2 pigs come running. The third one is lying in the corner by the wall, ears down, tail hanging flat as a bit of wet string. You call her, she lifts her head and puts it back down. A pig that doesn't come to food is a pig telling you something is wrong, plain as if she'd spoken it out loud. And every shepherd, every smallholder, every family with 3 pigs on a hillside kens that cold feeling in the stomach when they see it. Because a pig can go downhill fast, faster than a coo, faster than a sheep. Fine at breakfast, flat out by supper. Now, most folk handle it one of 2 ways. The first way is panic. Phone the vet, wait half a day for the call out, pay 60, 80, £100 before a hand has even touched the animal. And I'll say this now and again later because it's true. Sometimes that phone call is exactly the right thing to do, and I'll tell you plainly when it is. The second way, and this is the way that loses pigs, is waiting. Telling yourself she's just off her feed the day. She'll come right the morn, and the morn she's worse, and the day after she's gone, and you're standing over a dead animal that a cup of salt water and a wee spoonful of black powder might have saved on the first morning. Now, I want you to sit with this a moment. There are 3 things sitting in your kitchen right now. Things that cost pennies, things the old shepherds and hill families used for 200 years, and that the veterinary science of today still backs up. That can turn a common sick pig around. No a rare tincture, no something you order from a catalogue. Salt, sugar, and a black powder that hospitals have kept on their shelves since a French chemist swallowed poison in front of a room full of doctors in 1813 and walked out alive. 10 minutes of work at the pen. That is the bold claim in the title. My name is Angus. I'm a shepherd on the west coast of Scotland, the way my father was and his father before him, and like most folk who keep sheep on a wee place, I keep a few pigs alongside them, and everything I'm showing you the day I've done with my own 2 hands at my own pens. And I'm going to be honest with you right at the start, the way I always am, and especially the day, because when we're talking about a living animal, honest isn't just more useful than impressive. Honest is the difference between a pig in the pen and a pig in the ground. So here's the fair word on the title. Folk will tell you there's a kitchen cure that fixes any sick pig in 10 minutes. That's the bold claim. The truth, which I'm going to tell you straight, is more useful. 10 minutes is what it takes you to do the work, to check her over, mix the drench and get it into her. The turning around when it comes over the hours that follow, sometimes by that same afternoon. And it works on the common troubles, the ones behind most sick pigs on a wee place, and the gut upsets, the scours, the heat stress, the pig that ate something she shouldn't have. It doesn't cure the serious diseases, and I'll tell you exactly how to ken the difference, because kenning the difference is half of what I'm teaching you the day. Honest is more useful than impressive. Now, stay with me, and let me first tell you what's really happening inside that pig, because once you see the plain sense of it, the rest of the video explains itself. A pig is a gut with legs on it. I say that with affection, but it's the truth of the animal. Nearly everything that goes wrong with a pig on a wee place begins in the stomach and the bowel. She roots in the dirt, she eats what she finds, she drinks fae the puddle instead of the trough, and most days her insides handle it all fine, because a pig's gut is a hardy thing. But when it goes wrong, a mouldy bit of feed, a plant she shouldn't have chewed, a sudden change in her ration, a hot day without enough water. 3 things happen, and they happen together. First, the gut stops moving right, and she loses her appetite. That's the flat tail and the empty trough. Second, if it comes out as scours, that's the old word for diarrhea, she starts losing water and salts out of her body faster than she takes them in. And here's the thing most folk dinna ken. It's almost never the sickness itself that kills a pig with scours. It's the drying out, the dehydration. The body loses its water and its salt and its sugar, and the heart and the muscles canna run without them, and the animal fades away. Third, whatever bad thing she ate, the toxin, the mould, the rot, sits in her gut and keeps doing its damage as long as it's in there. So the cure, the real cure that the old folk kent and the science confirms, is na one clever thing. It's three plain things that answer those three problems. You bind up the bad stuff in the gut. You put the water and the salts and the sugar back into the body. And you help the gut settle and start moving right again. And here's where the kitchen comes in. The black powder is activated charcoal. And I want to tell you the story because it's a good one. In 1813, a French chemist named Bertrand stood in front of his colleagues and swallowed a dose of arsenic, a killing dose, mixed with charcoal, and he lived. A few years on, another Frenchman, a pharmacist called Tuileries, did the same in front of the French Academy of Medicine with strychnine, 10 times the deadly dose, taken with charcoal. He lived too, because activated charcoal is riddled with millions of microscopic holes. One wee spoonful of it has the inner surface area of a football pitch, and toxins bind onto it like flies onto flypaper. And then the whole lot passes through and out the back end of the animal, doing no more harm. This isna folk magic. Every hospital emergency room in the world keeps activated charcoal on the shelf the day, 200 years on, for poisonings, the same powder, the same chemistry, and a wee tub of it costs you a few pound and lasts your place for years. The salt and the sugar are the second part, and this one, humble as it sounds, has saved more lives than nearly any medicine ever invented. The doctors call it oral rehydration solution. The World Health Organization calls it one of the great medical discoveries of the last century because a simple mix of clean water, a wee bit of salt and a wee bit of sugar, in the right small amounts, and I'll give you the exact spoonfuls, pulls water back into a dried out body faster than water alone ever could. The sugar carries the salt across the gut wall, and the salt carries the water in with it. That's the chemistry of it, written in the medical books plain as day. It's what saves bairns with cholera in the far parts of the world, and it's what saves a scouring pig on a Scottish hillside, and it's made of things sitting in your cupboard right now. And the third thing is apple cider vinegar, the raw, cloudy kind, a splash in the water and a splash in the drench. The old hill folk swore by it for settling a beast's stomach, and the plain reason it helps is that it nudges the gut back toward the sour conditions the good bacteria like and the bad bacteria dinner. And I'll be honest with you, as I always am, the vinegar is the helper, not the hero. The charcoal and the salt sugar water do the heavy lifting. But the three together the old folk found, and I've found at my own pens, work better than anyone alone. Now I owe you the honest scope of what this works on, before you go and use it on the wrong sickness and feel like I lied to you. This is the most important 2 minutes of this video, so listen close. This kitchen method works on the everyday troubles, the pig that's off her feed but still on her legs, the mild scours, the pig that got into something, spoiled feed, a rubbish pile, a plant she shouldn't have eaten, heat stress on a warm day, the dull, slow, know-herself pig with no other alarming sign. That's most sick pigs on a wee place most of the time. It doesn't work on, and you mustn't wait a boot trying it on, the serious things. So here's my rule, and I want you to write it down. You put your hand on that pig, and you look for 4 alarms. A pig that canna get up at all. A pig with blood in the scours, or scours like water that willna stop. A pig that's burning hot to the touch. And a proper pig thermometer costs a few pound, and a pig's normal temperature runs about 38.5 to 39.5 degrees, so anything past 40 is a fever, and past 40.5 is a fire alarm, and a pig with skin gone blotchy red or purple at the ears and belly, or one breathing hard and coughing. Any one of those 4, you're no playing kitchen doctor. You're on the phone to the vet within the hour, because those are the signs of the serious diseases, the ones that spread, the ones the law in some places says must be reported. There's no shame in that phone call. The shame is in losing an animal to pride. And I'll tell you something more. You can give the salt sugar water while you wait for the vet, and it'll do no harm, and likely some good. But you dinna use it instead of the vet when the alarms are ringing. The bold title says revive a sick pig in 10 minutes. The honest shepherd teaching you says the common upsets, caught early in a pig still on her feet. That's most of what you'll face, and that's what this is for. Now let me show you what to gather, because the whole kit costs less than a single vet call out. and the time to gather it is the day, while your pigs are well. The old folk called it the beast cupboard. You can call it the animal medicine shelf. Activated charcoal powder, food grade or veterinary grade. A wee tub, a few pound online or Fay the chemist. Sea salt, plain, no additives. You've got it already. Sugar or a jar of honey, you've got that too. Raw apple cider vinegar, the cloudy kind with the mother in it, a couple of pound a bottle. A bag of dried kelp meal Fay, the farm store. That's your minerals and your iodine, and a sick pig coming back onto feed does well with a handful of it. And the well pigs will eat it happily too. A big plastic syringe, no needle, 60 millilitres, Fay the farm store or the chemist for getting liquid into a pig that will na drink. A pound or two. A digital thermometer, a pair of rubber gloves, and a clean bucket that lives on that shelf and nowhere else. That's the whole list. £15–20 altogether, sitting ready on a shelf, and most of it lasts years. The morning you find a flat-tailed pig in the corner is not the morning to be driving to town. Now, here's the 10 minutes. Plain and simple, in order. Minute 1 and 2. Look and touch before you do anything. Watch her Fay the gate first. Is she up? Is she doon? How's she breathing? Then go in quiet and calm. No chasing, and put your hands on her. Feel her ears and her belly for heat. Take her temperature if she'll let you. Look at her back end for scours and what colour they are. Run through the 4 alarms. If an alarm's ringing, that's your 10 minutes done. The rest of it is dialing the vet. No alarms, carry on. Minute 3 and 4, mix the drench. Into your clean bucket goes 1 litre of clean lukewarm water. Stir in half a teaspoon of salt. Level, no heaped, because too much salt is its own danger to a pig, and that's an honest warning, no a wee one. Stir in 2 tablespoons of sugar or honey until it's dissolved. Add a good splash of the apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon or 2. That's your rehydration drench, the same recipe in its bones that the medical books give. Minute 5 and 6, get it into her. If she'll drink Fay a shallow pan, best of all, let her. If she willna, draw the syringe full, tuck it into the side of her mouth behind the corner of the lips, point it across the tongue and note straight down the throat, and give it slow, a wee bit at a time, letting her swallow. Slow is the whole secret. Squirt it fast down a pig's throat, and it can go the wrong way into the lungs, and then you've made a sick pig sicker. 2 or 3 syringes now, and more every hour or 2 through the day. Minute 7 and 8, the charcoal. If you suspect she ate something bad, and with a rooting pig you nearly always should suspect it, mix a couple of tablespoons of the activated charcoal powder into a cup of water till it's a thin black slurry, and give it the same slow way with the syringe. Or, if she's still got any appetite at all, mix it into a wee handful of wet feed, because a pig will often eat what she will na drink. And dinna be alarmed the morn when her droppings come out black. That's the charcoal leaving with the trouble bound onto it. That's the fly paper going out with the flies. Minute 9 and 10, set the pen right. Fresh clean water in the shade with a splash of cider vinegar in it. Shade itself if the day's warm, because a hot sick pig dries out twice as fast. Pull any feed you've got doubts about. The mouldy corner of the bag, the kitchen scraps that sat too long, because there's no sense treating the pig and leaving the cause in the trough. And if you can, give her a wee bit of space Fay the others at the trough, because pigs are not gentle with a weak one at feeding time. That's the whole method. 10 minutes of work, pennies of ingredients, and then the part that costs nothing and matters most. You come back. 2 hours later, 4 hours later, before dark. You're watching for the small good signs. She's up, she's drinking on her own, the tail's got a curl back in it. She comes toward the bucket. On the common upsets, caught early, you'll very often see her turning by that same evening, and by the next morning she's shoving in at the trough with the rest and you'd never ken. And if she's not turning by the next morning, if she's the same or worse after a day of this, then the kitchen has done what the kitchen can do, and you make the phone call. That's not the method failing. That's the method telling you this one is beyond it, and telling you a full day sooner than waiting would have. Now I want to take a moment, because this is the part that matters. Think about what you just learned. Go into the farm store next time you're in, and find the shelf with the branded electrolyte powders for livestock. The bright tubs, 8, 12, £15 each. Pick one up and read the back of it. you'll see the same words: glucose, sodium, salt and sugar with a few pennies worth of flavouring, in a tub with a picture of a healthy pig on it at 20 times the price of your cupboard. How can that be? The honest answer is the same one I always come back to on this channel. There's no money in telling a shepherd that the salt and sugar already in his kitchen will save his pig. There's good money in selling him a tub every spring. That's not a conspiracy. There's no villain in it. It's simpler than that. A system that makes its money on you, note kenning, has no reason to teach you. So the old knowledge, the beast cupboard, the charcoal, the saltwater drench the old hill families mixed by lamplight for 200 years, has quietly stopped being past dune, and the bright shelf has taken over. My grandmother wouldn't have called this a shepherd's secret. She'd have called it what it is, plain sense that anyone who kept animals used to ken. You're being told now. So here's what I want you to do this week, while your pigs are well and the sun is out. Gather the beast cupboard, the charcoal, the salt, the sugar, the vinegar, the kelp, the syringe, the thermometer, the clean bucket. Put it on one shelf where you can find it in the dark, and then do the one thing that costs nothing. The morning, at feeding, stand at the gate for 1 extra minute and watch your pigs come to the bucket. Learn what their normal looks like, how they run, how they shove, how the tails curl, because the whole method begins with noticing the morning that one of them doesna. Tell me in the comments below. Have you ever had a pig or any beast go off her feed on you? And what did you do? What was in your grandmother's beast cupboard that I haven't named? I read every single one. Next time, since we've been talking about catching sickness early, I'm going to show you the old shepherd's way of reading an animal's health before she ever looks sick. The eyes, the coat, the droppings, the way she stands, so you catch trouble 3 days sooner than the feed bucket will tell you. It's the natural next step after the day. Dinner wait for the flat tail. Learn to see it coming.